One of the most challenging things you'll ever navigate in this life is going into the unknown. It can be scary for so many reasons, especially depending on what you're going through, right? Case to case, circumstance to circumstance. Going into the unknown is a skill, it's a challenge, and when we go into it with fear, we tend to attract and create really negative circumstances. We just attract negativity into our lives when we are fearful going into the unknown. Be it that the feelings of fear that you experience are the dominating feelings that are overtaking your body. So I often talk about how, the thoughts that you think and the things that you entertain in your mind are what are created. But the catalyst for all of these physical manifestations of your thought forms are your feelings, the way that you feel. So that's why it's really powerful to go into the unknown with this awareness. Because if you know that it's not just the thought alone, but the feeling behind the thought, you can navigate that fear of the unknown in a way that's going to increase the likelihood that you will attract goodness into your experience, that you will multiply and amplify actual things that you actually want to experience, right? So how can we do this? How can we truly go into the unknown with less fear, go into the unknown and the uncertainty that shows up in life with confidence and with a sense of, I know that I'll be okay no matter what happens. Easier said than done every single time. So in my life, I have gone into the unknown so many times. It is unbelievable. And the more I've exercised this muscle properly, the more I was able to witness the grace and the mercy of the Most High. I was able to witness the way that good intentions, when you have good intentions and you have that paired with faith, that you're going to be blessed in this life, right? So it doesn't matter how terrible what you're going through is. Easier said than done, but it doesn't matter what it is. When you have this faith and this emotional resilience, you're going to be able to enter into any situation with a sense of peace and a sense of clarity, even though you're going into unknown territory. Our job is to maintain that sense of faith, to maintain that sense of emotional resilience. And the emotional resilience is directly linked to the physical resilience. The emotional security is directly linked to the physical security. The emotional resilience and security is directly linked to the spiritual security and the mental security, right? So it's all one body, and they're all working and having relationships with one another. I go really deep into this sort of thing within my course, where I teach about people transitioning from processed foods and unhealthy foods that usually create dis-ease in the body into a lifestyle of more holistic eating and more mindful existing within this vessel, right? I'm glad to be sharing it with you here. If that's something that you're interested in, though, check out the link and explore that course. It's really, really powerful. And I talk a lot about the mind and the ways that we can navigate the relationships between these bodies, right? This emotional body, energetic body, spiritual body, in order to be successful in whatever it is that we are aiming for, right? In this case, I am sharing specifically about navigating the unknown and navigating the relationship you have between these different aspects of your body in order to go into the unknown with confidence. When you have never really gone into the unknown, or you're taking a leap of faith, for the first time, or for what feels like the first time, you're going to second guess yourself. You're going to question yourself. And the main thing that we're probably going to do is we're going to try to seek external validation. And that is the last thing that you want to do. You can inquire about things, you can mentally prepare yourself for something, but that leap of faith that you take is something that you're going to have to take for yourself. That risk that you take is going to be something that you choose to do for your own heart, for your own soul. And nobody can choose to do that for you. Nobody is going to convince you to do that, because the majority of people are not doing that. A lot of people on this planet are not taking those risks, are not jumping into the unknown. You might see it glamorized on the media, but the world at large, most people don't do that. So what you see on the media is, you might have come across people who are very bold and very adventurous, or would do things that you wish you could do, but you just haven't done it yourself because you never entertained that as a thought for yourself. But if you're somebody who really kind of feels that pull in your heart, I'm here to say that is something that's inside of your heart. Like, it's not going to leave you unless you become calloused by the world and calloused by, this program and this conditioning. That is deep within your soul, and it's really hard to run away from that. It's really hard to turn that thing off because your heart goes unadulterated. It could be masked by things, it could be hardened over time, but when you're a heart-centered person, it doesn't matter how much you've been conditioned. You're going to go back to this. Your heart's going to pull you. It's like a magnet. So don't seek others to do the thing that you feel called to do, especially as it pertains to going into the unknown, especially when it comes to taking a risk. And the risk might be something that affects so many different areas in your life. You want to be mindful of if it's going to affect other people in your life. But when you truly believe in yourself and you have it in your mind, there's very little that could come between you and what you're setting out to do, especially when the intentions are pure. And the misconception is that the intentions have to be pure. The reality of it is it doesn't even have to be that pure in order for it to come through. If you're strong in your mind and you're strong in your faith, even if your faith is in something wrong, you can easily create that for yourself, be it that you persist and be it that you seek the information and you do the things that you are required to do in order to make that thing happen, right? So, you know by now, if you haven't been on my channel, you will hear me say this, or if you go back to my other videos, you will hear me continuously say this. You have to do it for yourself. You have to go into the unknown. And when you're navigating the unknown, you have to understand this core principle, which is that when you go into it with fear and you go into it with the feelings of negativity, you are basically feeding into that thought that you have. The thought's natural. You're going to have plenty of good and bad thoughts. The thoughts is fine. But what really feeds into the thought that affects the actual manifestation is the feelings that you have towards that thought. So when the thought comes up that is rooted in doubt and fear and a lack of faith, or even hatred, shame, guilt, all these feeling states, they're very low vibrational feeling states that will grab you. It's almost like it will drag you down. And the more you give that thought, that feeling, the more it starts to expand in your awareness. So the more you will start to realize reasons why that thought is true, and reasons why you shouldn't take that risk, or reasons why you shouldn't make that change that you want to make, and that at some point you might have to make, whether you like it or not, or whether you choose to or not, right? Because again, when it's in your heart, it's hard to run from your calling. It's hard to run from yourself. It's hard to run from parts of yourself that are here to do the thing, right? Do it. But just know that you're equipping yourself in this moment to do it mindfully, to do it with the wisdom that I've accumulated over time and the love that I've accumulated over time, so that you don't have to make those mistakes, right? The key is to always move cautiously, be mindful, be cautious, be aware of your surroundings and your circumstance. You know, don't put yourself in harm's way and others in harm's way, but do not feed into the lies. Do not feed into the negativity, because this is what is going to keep you from navigating the unknown in a way that is just seamless, right? And it's almost difficult for me to even say seamless because it's the unknown, so you don't know. You really don't. You keep your heart open. You keep your mind open. You keep your faith intact. So the work becomes less about controlling the uncontrollable, because what can you really control when you're in the unknown? The work becomes maintaining your state of emotional well-being. Being cognizant, aware of the relationships that you have from these different bodies, layers of your body, to your emotional states. And you're maintaining those relationships according to what is going to be conducive to seamlessly navigating the unknown and ultimately reaching that goal that you want to reach. I feel like I should share an example with you. So let me think of one. You know, I have so many examples that I don't personally feel called to share so out here in the open. And these are life experiences and things that I would likely share more deeply within the community, within like private classes or one-on-one sessions, or even within my Patreon, because they're just personal. And I think that the stories hold a lot of value, so I am willing to share them, although I don't want to share them here. So take this with you as you move forward. Number one, do not fear doing what your heart is calling you to do. And realize that the fear that you feed into through your emotional states, those fears will manifest if you give them enough of your attention. But when you manage those fears, and you divert your attention away from those things that are freaking you out into something that is more helpful, into something that is more practical, into something that is maybe even more creative, you're going to give less energy into that channel of that negative hypothetical and more into the inevitable goodness of what it is that you are focusing upon. What you focus upon, what you think about, those are the outcomes that you will get. That is simply what you are going to see more of. But the way to see even more of that, the way to get yourself away from the negativity, is to feel good about it, to consciously choose to divert your attention away from the fear of being in the dark and looking for the light, going towards the light, moving towards the light. You start getting engulfed by this fear and this darkness. Realize stars shine in the darkness. Realize aurora borealis is within the dark of night. Realize that there are nebulas and beautiful, colorful splendor within this darkness. You don't have to just sit there and imagine the worst case scenario floating around, impending doom floating around all around you before it claws at your neck and you die. Right? That's not the only reality. When you think about the cosmos, you see very clearly lights and color and beauty dances and exists, and so much magnificence exists despite the darkness, despite the unknown, the not seeing. And you don't have to know. You don't have to know. Because once you start intervening into the unknown, you think that your plan is better. You think that what you think is better. It's not. You are going to be surprised, delighted, and completely shocked at how much of a blessing it is to not know and to not limit yourself to what you think might be the best option for you, when the Creator has something far better planned for you. It's taking everything that you've ever felt within you about a particular outcome into consideration. Whereas you, in a moment, you probably forgot all those other things that you were thinking about. You probably created so much desire within yourself over time. Some of those things that you wanted a week ago, they're completely gone. Some of the things that you wanted 10 years ago, those are still percolating, and those have magnified and amplified over time, and you completely forgot about it. So I trust that that's helpful. Check out the links in the description and have a beautiful life experience.